Joining me now, a fan of the program. First time I've gotten to talk to Tim Van Vooren on the Wisconsin Live Desk, but Tim is live at training camp. Tim, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. I got the chance to talk with Kim yesterday as we previewed this. Now today it all lays out in front of us, Ben, so this is fun.
Here's all the action. Okay, so give me a lay of the land right now. What's happening? What happens on day one of training camp? Who has arrived?
All right, well, everybody's here now. Obviously, the media is all here as well. This is the first chance we've had to get out with the guys. Some of the players have been practicing a little bit since the tail end of last week. Early reportees, that would include Jordan Love, the quarterback, and some of the other guys. But the full squad today, in fact, I even asked Jordan Love, well, we all make a big deal out of day one of the training camp. The fans do. Do you guys? He said, actually, we do. It is the start of something. It's a symbolic start of what's ahead. This is the practice field that the guys were on earlier today. This is Ray Nitschke Field. They'll be back out here again tomorrow. That's why we are up here in Green Bay, staying this week and bringing you all the coverage we can. And first chance in the new locker room today. The Packers just introduced that to their players yesterday. It's the same physical space that they were in before, but they hadn't let anybody in to see it. So the players were eating it up yesterday. They were on social media. Today we got in there to talk to some of the guys in front of their lockers and ask them a little bit about the locker room and the important issues of the NFL season, Ben, right there. The locker room, what do you think about that? And also Jordan Love asking about his wedding. This is our first chance to talk to him about his wedding. He said it was very good. He got the In-N-Out burger cart there, which he wanted, the food truck. And then he and his now wife, Veronica, went to the Maldives on their honeymoon. So he said it was pretty darn good.
Those are some pretty good questions out of the gate. I always find it fascinating, training camp, because nobody does it like the NFL, where we've got so many guys who are going to get cut. And there's just so many people that are fighting for a job. At the same time, Tim, in the same building, in the same locker room, on the same field, are guys who are showing up who just got a huge payday and their futures are secure. So walk us through, what does it feel like to be on the field with some guys who are now multi-millionaires and other guys who are wondering if they're going to have a career in the NFL?
It is a dichotomy. There's no question about that. And in the locker room, it's not like, well, here's where the big money guys are, and over here's where the guys who don't have a chance to make the roster. They mix everybody in and out, defense, offense, veteran to rookie. So, you're Zach Tom, for instance. You just got a new contract extension this week, 4 years, $88 million. And right there in that same locker room with him is J.J. Lippy from Whitefish Bay High School and Northern Illinois. He's a definite roster hopeful and, pursuing his dream here as an offensive lineman in Packers camp. But he's not making $88 million, Ben. And those guys are out there working out together. They're in the locker room dressing together. So you do get some of that for sure. And that's part of what makes football such a melting pot. These guys come from all over the place, different backgrounds. They're going to be paid at different levels. They're going to enjoy different success at this level. And yet right now they're all pulling in the same direction to try to be a Green Bay Packer.
Yeah, and they're all living the dream with that NFL hopeful. They all have big bright eyes of hoping for a long career in the NFL. What are the Packers' needs this season? Where are the big battles that will play out here in training camp?
Offensive line is an interesting situation to watch. I'm not sure it's a need, but it's definitely a battle. There are a lot of guys in there who think they ought to be the starter at a certain position. The Packers drafted a guy in the first round last year, Jordan Morgan. Right now, he's not at the top of the depth chart. They drafted a player in the second round this year, Anthony Belton. Right now, he's not on the top of the depth chart. So you're talking about major investment in guys who may not even be out there as regular contributors. So they think they should play. They think they can push to play. They think they have the ability to play. And then you have other guys who are trying to hold on to their spots. Rasheed Wallaker, as an example, offensive lineman. I asked him today, what do you think about your body of work? You barely played as a rookie. Now you're starting your fourth season. He says, I've started 35 games. I don't need to say anything else. I've started 35 games. That tells everybody what they need to know about me. So, guys they're on the team, but they have their individual goals as well. In terms of battles, in terms of spots, I'm looking on the defensive side, Ben, the cornerback position is it's just uncertain right now. You lost Jair Alexander
Right.
from last season. You've lost some guys who played in the NFL and were veterans at that position. So Packers are going to have some new faces back there and some more inexperienced players at defensive back for sure. And that includes Bo Melton, who was a wide receiver his first few years here in Green Bay. He's even switched his number now from 80 to 16. We just learned that today, and he's working out at defensive back, at cornerback. Packers say, hey, we know what he can do as a wide receiver. We know what he can do on special teams. We want to see if he can make this team and provide a contribution at cornerback. So he's a guy that's going to be in that back mix. And then the pass rush is always seemingly a question in every NFL city, maybe not Philadelphia, where the Super Bowl champions ran over teams last year in the playoffs, but otherwise, almost every team is looking for more pass rush, and that includes the Packers.
Yeah, exactly. How about the rookies? I mean, especially coming off when the last time we were all there at Lambeau was for this incredible draft, and now all these guys, I know they've been there for, the mini camps and especially after they signed, but here they are with the whole team. Have you been watching those guys today?
Yeah, it's an interesting draft class. There are 2 wide receivers in the first 3 rounds. Matthew Golden in the first round, and then Savion Williams in the third round. I mentioned Anthony Belton was a second-round pick as an offensive lineman. So that's where your offensive talent is. Then you went for some defensive players in the Packers. Those would be maybe contributors, but maybe not standouts right away as rookies as the Packers are shaping things up. I asked Matthew Golden today, and Ben, this kind of follows on what you're talking about. Nothing you ever do is going to be under the radar now in Green Bay. You were the guy at the draft. You were the guy that everybody looked at. You're the first wide receiver in years to be picked in the first round by the Packers. Nothing you do, good or bad, is going to be under the radar as long as you're a Green Bay Packer. He said, I asked, how do you handle that spotlight? And he said, yeah, I just do. I just want to get out there. I just want to do my thing. I just want to get better. That is part of the responsibility of my job and my draft position. I just want to get out there, contribute as I can. And then in a sly little smile at the end, Ben, he said, I just want to play fast. And let's face it, that's why he's in the NFL in the first place, because he is fast. So he knows why he's here. He just wants to get on the field and run.
He's the only guy in that locker room, too, who knows what it's like to be drafted, walk out and have fireworks going off and, 100,000 people cheering for you.
Right. Because of that, that's always going to be associated with him. If you remember, their 4th-round pick was actually here as well. Baron Sorrell, who is a defensive lineman. It's not the same to be picked in the 4th round as it was in the first, but at least he had that notable experience about being here too. Like, I'm just at the draft and I get picked by the Packers. So he's a guy who's out here on the practice field as well. So some of these stories you learned a little bit about during the draft. Now we're seeing those players out here on the field as they try to write their NFL stories.
I love that story too, because I love that he stuck around. So many guys are like, I'm a 2nd, 3rd round pick. I'm not going to be at the draft. And that guy was there in the locker room. All right, Tim. Well, thanks for joining us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. I know the players get little bicycles to ride in the camp. I don't know how you get around.
No bicycle, I'll tell you that. The players get water, they get hydration. Even the marketing guests get hydration. We don't get that either, Ben. So this is not a, woe is me. I'm happy to be up here. We've done this many, many years, but no bikes and no water.
That's okay. We know you'll find a way to find that stuff and not drop
Try to
that
stand strong. Maybe we can do it again tomorrow.
Really interesting stuff. I can't believe we're talking that training camp is here and family night will be here before we know it. Tim Van Vooren, thanks for joining us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Appreciate it.
Have a great afternoon, Ben. See ya.
Man.